Hello Miss Riri, welcome to my video, and today's video about my other unique friend. You know, the one I promised you, I promised you to talk about my unique friend, right? And this time is about Jonathan. Jonathan actually, not Jonathan. Jonathan Marihot Siahaan. And why I want to talk about him is because he is different. He's also different, right? In what way is he different? In a lot of ways, in several ways. Okay, before I talk more about Jonathan, I would like to ask you a question. What do you think about Jonathan, Miss? He's in your classroom, right? Right, well, Miss, I know most of the students do not really like Jonathan, and I sometimes don't understand why they don't like Jonathan. As for me, they should know one thing about Jonathan, which is he is different now. If I have to compare him with his attitude when he was in the first semester, he showed a lot, or I would say significant changes, Miss. The first one was like this. In the first semester, when we were in the same group, he really was like a pain in the neck, you know. He could not, our friends, including I, could not depend on him, and he would find a lot of excuses to get away from his, get away from doing his part. But he showed that he's different when we were in the third group, when we were in the third semester, and we were in the Introduction to Linguistic group. In that group work, he really submitted his part, and when he couldn't do anything, when he couldn't do something, that he would ask me questions, how to do this, but I don't understand, then I would explain. And he also, when we had to get together to discuss something, and he was the first student who came, and it did not really happen with other students. And the other thing that makes Jonathan different, different is like, it happens a few days ago, you know. In this Tower 2 class, there is a bundle, a thin bundle of material. I was assigned by the lecturer to make a copy, and then I made about 13 copies, and I gave out all the copies to each student, right? And you know what? Among all the other students in my class, in that Tower 2 class, Jonathan was the first student to pay me back, while some students paid me after that, and then others seem to forget that they owe me something. It was not that much, and I'm not saying that I'm so stingy that I want everybody to pay me. It's not the case, but I could see from that situation that Jonathan has changed. Jonathan was a different person, and yes, he does talk much in the classroom. He seems to dominate the classroom situation, right? But I think it happens because Jonathan sees other students are not active, so then he takes the initiative to speak up. What I don't understand about my friends is sometimes they don't like this kind of student. Could they ever imagine if they were a teacher in a classroom and with students who were not active? How would they feel? I am a teacher, not in a school, not in a formal situation, but in my private class. So I could understand how a teacher would feel if the students were so passive, not active. And students like Jonathan would really enliven the situation, right? So to me, it doesn't matter if Jonathan talks much about his. To me, it doesn't matter if Jonathan speaks his mind, although sometimes he seems to dominate the classroom. And the good thing about Jonathan is that he is actually easy to lead as long as we speak to him quite gently. I can understand why he acts the way he is now. That is probably because his upbringing. He's the only student. He's the only. He's the only child in his family, you know. And one day I talked to him, and then he said that his parents really spoils him. And from that moment, I guess that it was the reason why Jonathan is sometimes pain in the neck for other students. Well, I guess that's all about Jonathan, miss, and thank you for watching.